fire, fire for fire, fire. The fall of Bungie. Uh-oh. Fall of Bungie happened years ago. Let's be real.
Boy, I sure do love Bungie. And now that they're leaving Microsoft, they can cast off the corporate chains, make games on their own, and finally, they can be their true selves. Put the shackles back on them.
If my 16-year-old self had seen what Bungie has become today, I wouldn't believe it. And if you told me that in 2025 I'd think Bungie is worse than EA, I'd say, okay, sure, Grandpa, let's get you back to the home.
I do think that EA is so much worse than Bungie, even at this point. Yeah, at least Bungie's like kind of a carcass that throws itself around to make it seem like it's good, you know?
Yet here we are, living in a life
Not by much! Not by much, don't get me wrong, not by much.
beyond reality. Bungie has recently been exposed for some damning plagiarism.
Yep.
And today we're going to be
This is a
covering
big deal.
Bungie's current reputation, the state of Marathon, just how bad this plagiarism is. So let's jump into
His
it.
face!
Bungie was the first game developer I could attach a face to. When you play video
Mine
games
was
as a kid,
Blizzard.
you don't really think about the people behind them. But
The
that all changed with Halo
X-Facts.
2 when my mom got a copy of the collector's edition at an auction. And it had a bonus disc with all these extra features like fucking Lord of the Rings.
What?
I remember watching
That's
those
sick,
Vidocs
man.
and thinking, man, the people who make video games are pretty cool.
Yeah, because they played the video games and they wanted to play the video games. They weren't corpo borpos in suits. Like, you really think that Bungie, like, all of these video game companies started off with, like, we need to make money immediately. Like, even Blizzard and Activision, they did not make money until their third or fourth game. Or they didn't do that well. They did okay.
Now look at me,
You know, they didn't
covering
die,
the dastardly
so
deeds
it's a
of a
bonus.
developer that inspired me. You know, someone at Bungie once told me that Bungie may have left Microsoft, but Microsoft never left them. And I
Oh my god. This is what I've been saying too. With Blizzard, if Blizzard somehow like detached itself from Activision acquired Blizzard back in like I want to say 2009 or 10. Like that was the official transition when they bought it out. That culture has been in there for like 15 fucking years. You really think that you'll be able to get rid of it by then? No, it's like asleep dormant in your root system.
think with each passing day, this statement
let's look at
continues to
STD.
please Captain Hindsight. This is not the first or last controversy Bungie will ever have, but it seems like one of the worst. What am I talking about? Everyone's favorite subject in high school, plagiarism. You made this?
True. I made this.
I made this. You see, they're currently rebooting Marathon. Remember that trailer?
How many of you took shit from Wikipedia and then rewrote it in your own words? How many of you? Press 1 right now. Caught me. I did it in elementary school. I remember. I got in trouble. Uh-oh, stinkies. A lot of stinkies in chat. It's okay. I did it too. We all
FPS
stank.
games that came out shortly after Doom, giving Bungie the knowledge to then use that experience on Halo. Recently,
Wow.
they opened the Marathon Alpha up to players, and the reception has been lukewarm at best. Most agree that Bungie's art direction is solid as always. Or is it? But that Marathon's
I disagree. I think it looks very... It's almost too colorful. Like, if they made it a little bit more gritty, I think people would have forgiven it a lot more. It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, plastic! Wait, plastic's actually kind of a good word for it. It's plasticky. Like a credit card. Because that's probably what Bungie's thinking about while they're making the game. Your credit card.
gameplay is somewhat divisive. Extraction shooters are a tough sell, but whether you enjoy
that
Marathon or
too.
not isn't the issue. It's the unjustifiable act of a multi-billion-dollar corporation and not wanting to pay artists to create art, but instead steal it from others.
I love stealing. I love taking things.
Especially at a time when artists are being screwed over by AI. It feels like pouring salt on a guy's crotch after you kick him in the balls.
And honestly, I think people would have probably not been as pissed if they found out about the AI. The fact that they're stealing with AI available is just insane to me. Like, why even take the risk? Like, let's put it this way. Blizzard already took and started making backgrounds for AI and using textures that they've produced over the years in order to cut back costs so they can quote-unquote produce things faster. Yeah, why not just hire the artist or something? Yeah, you're absolutely fucking over the guy that made this possible. It wasn't even AI in that sense.
This comes to us from user N2, part of Anti-Real, the company that hosted all of the art. The Marathon Alpha released recently, and its environments are covered with assets lifted from poster designs I made in 2017.
Wow.
The year Destiny 2 came out?
Coincidence?
I think not!
Now, as you can see on some of these weapons, this logo is...
They didn't even change the name. Bro, this is so lazy. You could have probably gotten away with it if you just kind of kept the theme kind of the same, but changed, like, I don't know, the font or, like, the names of the words. This is unironically so fucking lazy.
That's pretty bad. That's...
Not even inspired or something.
You got caught. And you can also see these logos.
Put your
They're
hands up.
very small. They've been reused across multiple assets in Marathon. Yeah, from Marathon homepage, from Marathon press kit.
The press kit too. Oh my god, like they wouldn't notice.
From 2016, yeah,
Wow,
with receipts
dude.
and everything. So pretty undeniable. And to continues, Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade. But clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over the game without pay or attribution. Important to also note, I see that Joseph Cross also follows you. Is there any insight you can give? He followed me for a few years, and a few others from Bungie. Never had any communication.
Oh no, man. That must sting so bad.
So it would seem the Bungie franchise art director was familiar with the person that some of his employees was stealing art from. The more you look into it, the worse it gets. I'm gonna say that a few times in this video.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I feel like it's kind of the same thing as like if someone made a red fox, right? And they have like fire in their ears and flowers in their ears, but it's ever so slightly different, and then it comes out that someone was following me on Twitter for like at least a year or more and being like, no, you guys, I just came up with this idea. I really like foxes. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. You love foxes and stuff, but like, come on, man. Like, you didn't even try to change anything. You kept pretty much everything the same. It's just business. That's right, chat. You're so smart.
These
Sludge
comparisons are
Allen,
so
yeah.
blatant. It's more blatant than the kid that tried to steal my Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the 4th grade. It's like,
Clever Elena the Coyote. I wouldn't even be mad if it was Clever Elena the Coyote. This is quite literally you lifted like SmugAlana and then maybe like put a bar across her chest or something. Like, I don't know, changed her bra or something. Like really small.
like, dude, you asked to see
That
my
would be
deck, and then you
funny.
just pulled my
I wouldn't
secret
be
rare magic
mad.
cylinder out and slapped it underneath your butt cheeks. I saw you do that. Why?
Why'd you
Bungie
do
just
it,
straight
bro?
fucking ripped this guy's art. Like you'd rip a fat, nasty fart on an airplane where
It
nobody can
smells
escape
bad.
because you're a terrible human being. Now, I've talked with Zavala, and even he can't defend this. Isn't that right? Guardian, let me just say this. I could offer you...
Chat, you can say it's cringe, but I guarantee you motherfuckers do this too with your figurines. No, do not type schizo. Do not be like, oh my god, dies of cringe. You've done this. You have done this.
3 guns. I could give you 4 guns. I could go even further beyond and let you hold 5.
They don't come out of the jar. Why are you cooming on this guy, huh?
But Guardian, there's no amount of weapons that can excuse plagiarism. Remember, kids, plagiarism funded 9/11.
Zavala,
Wait,
can you
what?
try to be normal for once?
Have you retrieved those pictures of Ikora's feet yet? Now, if you really wanted to cope or simp for Bungie, you'd probably say something like, well, what's the big deal, Actan? It's just some tiny logos from a random artist. It's not like you're copying a review or something. My friend, the problem with plagiarism is not always how gross or blatant the offense is. It's having to wonder if there's more. When you see a rat scuttling around your house, you don't think to yourself, oh, look, that's just one rat. No, you think, how many Jews are under the floorboards?
I just got whiplash. I was like, okay, we're gonna talk about rats in a cave, not Jews in the floorboards. Woo!
Right now. Oh, Jews. I mean, geez. Oh, God, that came out wrong. I'm canceled for sure.
Yep.
Go ahead and cancel me. I don't care.
If you're a plagiarist, the goal is to steal someone's work that isn't recognizable or familiar with your work. You hope it's obscure enough that nobody notices or cares. So if Bungie is willing to steal art from one creator, how many others are they stealing from?
And they studied them too. Like, they followed him on Twitter and shit. How many other people did they fuck over?
Is this a repeated pattern of behavior? We'll find out later. I can't even imagine the legal ramifications of releasing a game to the public that has plagiarized assets. If you sell that to people, lawyers, help me out in the comments below. Someone get legal on this. I would probably cry myself to sleep for the rest of my life if I ever found out that Zavala's bright blue ass wasn't original. Guardian, I'm not fat, I'm just dummy thick. Zavala, I don't think the cool kids say that anymore. Fuck you, Guardian! The more you look
Jesus Christ, man. We went from Nazi jokes back to role-playing, man.
into this plagiarism controversy, the worse it gets. But how bad could it be?
I know
had
got
loss
worse.
in my design 6 years ago, and nobody caught on. And, fellas, Marathon has the loss meme in-game.
No, what? The lost meme? The guy that's like in the hospital? That's so good. What? Oh my god, that's so good. I had no. Wait, that's like that's like signing something and then they didn't wipe off the sign. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, modern hieroglyphs.
It's the loss meme in-game.
Oh,
Son of
no.
a bitch. You done fucked it up.
Wow. Wow, there it is. They actually put it in. They probably. Wait, that's actually so smart though, so that people can't use the assets because there's always gonna, like, unless they understand the meme and then they erase it, but no.
For those looking around dazed and confused,
Thank
wondering,
you.
what's lost? What is that? The second I put it up on screen, you are gonna know exactly what it is.
Yeah. It's literally hieroglyphics, man. Yeah. I told you it's the hospital meme, but it's called laws. He put the fucking meme in hieroglyphics.
That's what I thought. The
It
meme
would be like citing Sonnet showing your work to curse plagiarists. Yes, unironically, but like, but with stick language, I guess somehow that could be interpreted that way. The joke is that this has been reiterated so much you can literally just see it in the sticks.
is like one of the most reposted images on the internet, to the point where all it takes to represent
Yes.
the comic strip is just like 8
Sticks.
lines.
Yes.
And this is in Marathon. They plagiarized sticks. They plagiarized sticks.
That's so
man.
fucking funny, man.
I love from Marathon Bulletin. Come on, man. Dude,
You
I was
done
scrolling
fucked
and they deadass
up.
stole this whole dude's portfolio, and even some Bungie devs art people follow him. This is so heartbreaking.
Bungo, man.
It's over for Bungie. This is unacceptable. Yeah. I think it's safe to say parody is dead on planet Earth. You just couldn't make Monty Python these days. Reality is simply too absurd. And if that wasn't bad enough, that this person is getting their art stolen, the gaming publication DualShockers is publicly posting fake quotes.
What?
I'm completely floored, she wrote. This is my full-time job. I sell these posters online. They're not obscure. A major company has deemed it necessary to pay a designer to imitate or trace rather than license or commission the work.
This sounds like AI, bro. They actually filtered this through AI, I can tell.
Insane fake quote, LOL. I am unemployed. That's a double whammy right there.
God, I fucking hate them so much. Yo, Hell Girl, thank you for the raid! Приветик! Спасибо большое! Привет, привет, привет! Как дела? Как был стрим? Мы просто видосы смотрим про игры. Спасибо. Supermarket Simulator. What, you been a woman? Woman? Опа! Рейдеры! Рада тебе. Спасибо большое. Спасибо, спасибо.
Let's steal your voice and your talent.
check her
What
out,
is
chat.
happening? Homie can't catch a break. Do a good thing today and go follow N2 if you still use Twitter. But it doesn't stop there, folks. So I found this thread on Blue Sky, who appears to be another person involved with the art on Anti-Real. I'll link it in the description if you want to read it yourself. But I want to scroll down. I do not need names found on assets to assume that we have been stalked insanely by Joseph A. Cross for a long time.
So they studied their competition instead of hiring them. You know, back in my day, when you saw someone that was really good and you had a competitor, you just hire them and be like, damn, okay, come to our side. Whatever happened to that?
I will close with this. This existed for years. No one in the game industry or films hired anyone. Anti-Real became a Pinterest for these corporate games to claim our hard work as their own, to earn quick money and settle small collaterals. Disgusting. That really sums it up well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bungie of the early 2000s, to think them capable of such a thing is mind-boggling. But
That's because it's not them anymore. What is that? The ship that gets rebuilt using new material. Is it still the same ship or not? Yeah, the Ship of Theseus. It's the same exact concept. Is it really Bungie anymore if they don't have, like, the core of Bungie? Not really. It's kind of a corpse. Yeah. Я с вкусным и буду под тебя засыпать. О, спасибо, спасибо. I hope I don't yell in your ear. Не буду кричать тогда.
This is the kind of thing that happens when greed takes over and making money and cutting the workforce.
Dude, Destiny
and
2 is a
saving
crime.
as much as you possibly can and being
Chat. You think World of Warcraft is bad with expansions? I remember my friend was trying to tell me to get into Destiny 2, and they were telling me to, like, purchase DLC just to base get into the game. It was like $200. No cap. Like, it could have been more, but it's like it's minimum like $200 or $180.
the cheapest motherfucker out there. This is the kind of stuff that happens. And that Marathon is going to release an art book. Can we at least call it the art book Anti-Real art book? How the fuck does that work, dog? Anyways, artists are really being treated like shit nowadays. Which reminds me, remember that $8,000 art contest I announced a few months ago? Well, I have finally decided all of the winners, including this pencil drawing of me as
That's
Goku.
cool.
It is gorgeous. Thank you, Folding Solid. And who could forget Dill the Great? That's me and my
I thought he was gonna say Dell or something else.
homie Arbiter, man. Fantastic. He's won $100. And
Wow.
Sad Dwarf 5088.
Red
with his Cowboy Man art.
That's cool.
You're all right, boy.
I'm still working to pay off all of the different winners. There's a lot of them, including those who got the top 3 spots. So if that video is not available today, you'll see it on Ackman TV, me going through all the fan art submissions in the next couple days. If you want to see more of this fan art or just want to interact with me and the rest of my awesome community, you can join the Discord server, link down below, or join my subreddit. Thank you for your patience. And now back to the video. Now let's take a look at Bungie's response. They ran an hour-long marathon with 0 gameplay footage while scrubbing the art for plagiarism as the game.
But you couldn't do that before you got called out.
Art director offers a personal apology. There is absolutely no excuse for this oversight, Bungie says. So how did this happen? Well, Cross says, it came to our attention that an artist who worked on Marathon in the early stages of pre-production took a number of graphic elements from a graphic designer without permission or acknowledgement and placed them on a decal sheet that was then checked in 2020. Cross said that Bungie has reached out to Anti-Real and followed up to ensure we do right by this artist. No exact details on what Bungie intends to do were provided. I want to send my personal apology to Anti-Real, whose work was used in this case. So, at the very least, Bungie has publicly apologized, which, I mean, it's the bare minimum, but it's something. This is one of those colossal fuck-ups that you can't really brush aside and say, oh, it was just an administrative error. Bungie accused of plagiarizing yet again. What? What do you mean yet again? This isn't the first time? Bungie is once again in the plagiarism.
Wait, once again in the plagiarism? What?
Some hot seat.
Really?
This isn't the first time Bungie or a contractor working with them would allegedly lift another creator's work without permission. In 2023, artist element J21 noticed an uncanny representation of their work used in a cutscene for Destiny 2 Lightfall. You can see this pretty fucking blatant.
Yeah, this is very, very close. Yeah, even the triangles and shit and the shading on the circle. Yeah, they actually ripped it. Oh my god. Yeah, it's basically a 1-to-1. The only thing that changes is they kind of smoothed it out and put more detail on the bottom. That's it.
As well.
Wow.
No. Actually, it's completely different. See this triangle?
It's a little bit
on the left?
It's a little bit different from the other triangle.
They didn't finish the pyramid. No, it's completely different. Case closed.
Yep.
Last year, Destiny 2 weapon skin featured identical elements of artist Tofu Rabbit's original design from 2015.
Bro, these people that do this kind of thing for fun, you know, the most fucked up thing about it is that they would have been fine if they just put it in the game and gave them credit. Like, oh my gosh, like, wow, you know, like, oh, they put it in the game and this is so cool, thanks. Like, we're acknowledging our fan artists. They, like, ripped it and we're like, this is ours now.
In both instances, Bungie would agree to pay the artists. Is this just how they run?
Why not just pay them and then you're cool, like.
Business now?
What?
This is a repeated pattern of behavior. I mean, it's only
hire
happened
them,
3
yeah.
times, guys. Give them a break. Now you might be wondering, what does EA have to do with all of this? Not a whole lot. But the point remains that I'm trying to make is that not even Electronic Arts would do something this egregious. I like bringing up EA whenever other game companies pull some shady shit because EA is like the benchmark of what you expect a greedy, soulless, awful, money-grubbing corporation to do.
Because they were the first ones to do it. That's the best part.
Is this good for the player?
They're like...
Is this good for the player's wallet, chat?
Every anti-consumer stereotype wrapped up into one nice, neat little package. So if EA is somehow able to gain the moral high ground over you, bad look. That's a bad look.
For sure.
Bad business.
So let's take a look at a plagiarism scandal that EA had back in 2012. Just for comparison, EA responds to Command & Conquer plagiarism claims. Controversial tank designs will not be used in Tiberium Alliance. There were similarities between the designs for Tiberium Alliance's Grinder and Bombard tanks and Warhammer 40k's Bone Cruncher and Baneblade vehicles. Side note, Why does
orc
Warhammer
one.
40k always have the greatest names for everything? True.
Because they're awesome. Like, really? Even though I have my gripes about Warhammer, I really wanted to play Total Warhammer, and I basically refused because of the DLC being so expensive and ridiculous, and basically the base game isn't good enough to pay for by itself, so they basically force you to buy the DLC because it's not fun enough to play the base game. So basically you're paying extra for a game that's not really finished. Yeah, Total War became arcadey too. Yeah, that too, but I'm just saying, like, even with my gripes, I think that I still think that Warhammer has more soul to it. Lana, you're just too poor for the hobby. My brother really loves painting figurines.
Nurgle homies, stand up right now. Be recognized in the comments.
Nurgly
EA claims that the
Wurgly!
art depicting the vehicles was released accidentally, and the IP issues have already been resolved with Game Workshop. The artwork was internal EA concept art that was unintentionally released publicly. No Warhammer 40k tanks ever have made an appearance in Command & Conquer, Tiberium Alliances, and never will. In EA...
I'm gonna say that this was probably an honest mistake, and this can happen. Yeah, it's not necessarily like a look, you tried to copy another company. It's like that they wouldn't do that intentionally. I'm sure it was just an accident. Yeah, tanks can look similar. It depends. I don't know. I looked at it like, yeah, I can see it's very, very similar, but at the same time, you're stepping on another company's toes. I don't think that Bungie and EA or whatever, like, they're that EA is not that bold to copy Warhammer directly. Like, they know they'll get fucked up.
A representative said. So the story here is that the scandal has already been resolved by the time the story broke. The story is that there is no longer a story. The issue has been resolved. If you're being charitable to EA, they probably used Warhammer designs as inspiration to base their own designs off of, or maybe they felt a similar aesthetic would work in Command & Conquer. Regardless, the art was leaked.
There's also a notion of, like, how do you create new things if you can't, like, even take a little bit of inspiration as well? It's kind of like the whole Nintendo versus Pal World thing. Like, oh, you can't have, like, balls capturing monsters? That's illegal. We're gonna sue you. That kind of thing. I think that's cringe.
It was internal, and it wasn't released as part of a product that people could purchase or play. This makes it way different than what's going on with Bungie, because this time it has gone through all those channels. Yeah. I think that's an important distinction, and one that's, well, EA got the moral high ground. And this 13-year-old Reddit comment validates what EA said, that they don't see any evidence of the tank on the game's official website. So they're asking, where did this image come from, basically? Now, if we didn't live in a clown world, then this would be the end of the controversy for the video. But the comedy isn't over, ladies and gentlemen. Yippee! You see, Bungie had the misfortune of...
Oh no, I saw a little clip of this interview. Chad, brace yourself.
Planning a promotional stream for Marathon right around the time this accusation broke. And well, chat, you didn't disappoint.
Yeah, we're working on a bunch of stuff, working with Lars's team.
Gulp.
Why are we still here?
Gulp.
Just to suffer?
You could sum up the vibes in one screenshot.
I do feel bad that they're the ones sitting at the forefront. You know what I'm saying?
Boy, he sure looks happy, doesn't he? Plagiarism will make me God. Now, for any artists watching this, how would you feel in this situation? Just let me know down in the comments below. I'm very curious.
Only a little bit.
Thank you for stealing my work. As we talked about in a previous video on AI, you can check that out if you want. Greedy CEOs and corporations are looking to cull as many talented artists as possible from their workforce, since they believe robots and AI can create art that is just as good. But
No, I don't believe that. I think that AI can be used as a tool, and it can be used well to cut corners, used by an artist. Like, instead of smearing your hand with fucking paint and rubbing it on the wall, you use a piece of tool and use a fucking paintbrush or whatever. You can use it as a tool to save time for yourself as an artist, but you can never take away from like being an artist and being a human being. That's just my opinion.
We all learned from SpongeBob.
Robots can't love.
If Bungie was so interested in their art, they were willing to steal it. Why not hire them?
It's kind of like if you're a writer and you get really bad writer's block and you use the logic of a robot, like the AI, you feed in a story and you say, hey, can you jog me and inspire me to like figure out how to write certain things in a certain way using the context given? And then it finally unblocks your art block. I don't know how that would apply directly to like being an artist, but like that's like kind of what I imagine would be useful for like a person who's stuck at writing something. I don't know. It's hard to say.
And when push comes to shove, are we as a community willing to stand up for these people against the Goliath? I'm just saying, if I see a GoFundMe link pop up on my feed, pretty good chance I'll click it. This plagiarism controversy is really bad because among all the other controversies, Bungie has always like had their solid art direction to lean on. But that is no longer the case. As one comment under the Marathon trailer points out, the Bungie art team never ceases to amaze me. How do we tell him? Now, I want to draw your attention to this tweet from Jamie Greisemer, former lead designer of Halo CE and Halo 2, and the 30 Seconds of Fun guy who had a huge part in the core gameplay and fun factor of Halo. Completely overwhelmed by the response to this. Thank you so much for the support, and especially to those who have donated. It helps enormously. Good, because I bet you get a cease and desist takedown demand on your own art by Monday morning. Sorry, that might have sounded like I was criticizing you instead of Bungie's comically aggressive lawyers. I love your art and they should not have stolen it. Comically aggressive lawyers, those 3 words coming from a former Bungie employee, it says a lot. It says a lot.
That is actually insane. What the fuck? No way that he said that.
Now, how else has Bungie responded to this? Well, you could sum up...
I mean, again, I don't want to be like a parasocial Andy, but like that's fucked up. He actually said that out loud.
Everything in this one article title.
Is that a threat? No, he's an ex Bungie artist or whatever, like employee, and he's basically laughing and scoffing and saying, yeah, well, I wouldn't really expect much from Bungie. They're probably gonna try and fuck you in the ass because they know what's happening. Or they are one of the ex-Halo guys that used to work a job under the company because they're so aggressive. Yeah, maybe people got confused, but that guy used to work for them.
The vibes have never been worse. New report details Bungie morale in free fall after—
No shit, man! They took that blow, by the way. They got a really lukewarm reception on the trailer. Of course, this would be horrible for them, too.
Marathon art theft claims. The vibes have never been worse. Marathon is expected to release in September and sell for $40. At this rate, though, so much uncertainty has been planted in the seeds of this game. I don't know where things are going to go forward with this, but
if I remember correctly, they also Sony cut the yeah, someone just said Sony cut 100% of the marketing on the game. Yeah, they're gonna be so fucking cooked, man.
I would be shocked if the game is not delayed. Even going as far back as like Battlefield 5, like when you hear a lot of negative shit about a game before it's even out, kind of poisons the well. And it's a damn shame because I think even if it's an extraction shooter, Marathon deserves another chance. Doom got one, but this controversy has been a complete disaster for Bungie and Marathon by all accounts. There are no real winners in this story, except if you follow N2 and at least, you know, look at their art and give them some support. By the time this goes up, I'm sure there will be some other updates, but the right thing to do is so simple.
I do think that the trailer was actually kind of cool until they started leaning into the whole speechless running across and then getting shot kind of thing. I thought it was kind of cool. They should have really tapped into the whole like psychological fucky wucky thing instead of making it rather bland. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Again, it is art at the end of the day, and that's just my interpretation of it. It's gonna be Concord 2025. I don't think it'll be that bad, chat. I don't think it'll be as bad as Concord. Maybe a couple of steps above. Try to be like a little, like, it doesn't look like complete trash. I understand the art direction. It'll be worse. You guys really, guys, I think you're underestimating how bad Concord really truly was. Come on. An Anthem? Yeah, it could be like Anthem.
Bungie has to fervently apologize and either credit this person for their contributions, or they write
agree
a check.
To disagree. I
a really
disagree. I don't think
check.
it's as bad
No
as
matter
Concord.
what, Bungie's checkbook is coming out. That's the right thing to do. But what do you think? Are you still interested in playing Marathon?
Nah.
What's your favorite thing to plagiarize? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Thank you all for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out. Peace.
I don't know, man. The gameplay has to be phenomenal or something. There's no other way. Go check them out. I mean, it wasn't a bad video. I'm just saying, I didn't know that they had controversies before that. It's pretty cringe.
Fire, fire, fire.